Well, Trevor, what game we playing today?
Scotland Yard.
Ah, very nice. That's why we have a map of London out here, eh?
Indeed it is.
Fantastic. Do you like Scotland Yard?
I do. I think it's a really fun game.
Ah, nice. Well, what's it all about?
It's about the detectives in Scotland Yard trying to capture Mr. X, who is on the run. He's a fugitive and nobody likes him.
Oh, okay. So who gets to play what?
Yeah, that's what you decide when you come out and you pick up the game. You say, I want to be Mr. X, and everyone fights over who wants to be Mr. X. And do rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins gets to be Mr. X.
Because that's the funnest part.
I think so.
Why?
Well, just because, I don't know, there's just something about being the odd man out in cooperative games that gets people going.
Yeah. So it's cooperative for everybody else but Mr. X.
Yeah.
Nice. Everybody's hunting him down. Well, sweet. Well, I see a lot of different things on the board. I'm sure you'll explain what they all mean.
I definitely will.
Okay.
So you start the game. Each person will start with, each detective will start with 10 taxi tokens, 8 bus tokens, and 4 underground tokens.
Okay.
And each detective and Mr. X will draw one of these tiles to tell them their starting location.
Okay, so there's a random set of places to start.
Mm-hmm.
They each get their spot.
So each of these places in London are numbered so you can find them. Sometimes it's harder to find numbers than others.
Nice. So we've got 4 detectives out in this game.
Yep.
Nice. And where does Mr. X start?
Mr. X will be starting on tile 138 right here, but he doesn't put his pawn on the board.
Okay.
So nobody knows where Mr. X is to begin with.
So
Only
he
Mr.
takes
X.
his spot. He remembers where he's at.
He's right here,
Okay.
but nobody else knows
We're
that.
not going to show it. Nice.
Mr. X will start out with only 4 taxi tokens, 3 bus tokens, and 3 underground tokens, but he gets 2 double move tokens, and however many players there are, he gets that many mystery
Oh, okay.
tokens.
I'm sure you'll show me how those work in just a minute, but what do those mean on the map?
Well, the taxi tokens are these white lines. Any white line between location to location is a taxi. If there's a white line, you can taxi there.
Okay.
If there's a blue line, there's going to be a blue slash under these circles. That means a bus goes from there to there. Or from here to here, there's a bus. So buses take a little longer distance sometimes than taxis. And then underground are the orange dots that connect on these highlighted orange numbers that connect even longer distances.
Nice. So underground gets you farther. You got less of them.
Yep.
You got limited supply.
And to make things even better, when the detectives use their tokens, they give them to Mr. X.
So Mr. X has an unlimited supply of movement, essentially.
Pretty much.
And what happens if the detectives run out of movement?
Then they're out of luck. If they can't move anywhere, then they can't do anything else to help the cause, to find Mr. X.
Okay, well, how do you figure out who wins?
You figure out who wins is if Mr. X gets to turn 24 and the detectives still haven't caught him yet, he wins, because he's eluded them for 24 turns.
Nice. Or
if they catch Mr. X, then the detectives as a whole win.
and what do you have to do to catch him?
You gotta land on his spot.
Okay, well, show me a quick turn how it works.
All right. So Mr. X would go first. He's going to take a visor. If you have a visor or a hat, it's usually good to have that so it's covering your eyes and they can't see where you're looking at the board. Your first turn, you know that you're going to start on whatever tile you draw. I drew this 138 tile. I'm going to put this pawn out here for purposes of seeing. Then I say, okay, where do I want to go from here? I probably don't want to move towards them because that would be foolish. But I want to get to a spot that can get me around quickly. So I think I'm going to move to 124. And I'm going to write that number right here. I say 124.
Yep.
So I can keep track of where I'm at.
Okay.
Then the mode of transportation I used to get there was a taxi. Since I went from this one to this one. So I'm going to put a taxi token over it.
Okay.
So they know that I took a taxi.
So the only thing they know, they don't see your piece on the board because
They have no idea where I am. The only thing they know is I just took a
You
taxi.
took a taxi somewhere. So on their first turn, they're just taking a guess.
Yep, they're just going to move around. They're going to say, okay, say this is red. He's going to say, okay, I'm going to take a taxi. Takes his token, gives it to Mr. X, and says, I'm going to move it to here. Are you there? And of course, I'm not there. But they don't know that. He might have been there.
Okay. And everybody.
And then
takes a
everybody
turn.
does that in the same manner, and it keeps going until on the third turn, Mr. X is in a spot. He's going to write his number, say I've gotten to 177 because I took a bus on that second turn. On this third turn with the big bubbles, that's when you're going to appear. That's how the detectives are going to know and where to converge onto him.
Okay.
So say from 77, I went to 76. So I'll write 76 here, cover it with the mode of transportation I used to get there, which would be a taxi again. I'd come here, and my pawn is still off the board, and I'd say, okay, I'm right here. And then the detectives swarm like flies, and once their turn is over, you disappear and keep moving.
Nice. So at all those big spots, periodically through the game, Mr. X will appear somewhere.
On every fifth
Nice.
Bubble, the
He's
big
gonna
bubble
appear.
is where he's going to appear.
Alright, so as Mr. X, you got to figure out, okay, not only are you watching how to elude them, but where you want to show up so you can escape. So tell me about the 2X and the mystery move tokens you got there.
Well, let's pretend that everybody is really converged into this area and say I'm like right here. And I'm just thinking, oh,
And you
crap.
revealed yourself.
And I've had myself revealed, and then I just barely took myself off the board. And I'm just thinking, oh crap, I've got nowhere to go. This is when this would be an opportune time to play a double move token, which lets you move twice. So I could say I would write down on my little Heidi sheet right here. Let's say I move to 65, and then I'll move to here. So I went from 65 to 22. And I'd write them both down, cover them with the modes of transportation that I say that I want to use, and then they'd know what happens. However, since they would know if I took a taxi from here to here, and then I put a bus token there, they'd know that I probably ended up to here or to here.
So pretty obvious if you're playing a taxi and
that's
bus.
where these mystery tokens come in.
Nice.
If you put a mystery token down, they don't know what mode of transportation you just took.
So you could have taken 2 taxis.
Or-
Well, your first one was a taxi, second one
Yep.
it disappeared somewhere.
The
So it makes it
other,
harder.
the other thing that these mystery tokens are good for is the river. Mr. X is the only one that can use the river, but these black lines that connect from location to location, port to port, there's not really ports on a river, but whatever.
Station to station.
Station to station on a river. Mr. X can use his mystery token to travel from one station to another station.
Nice. So he's got a limited supply of those, but it all makes it fun. Sweet.
And you may think, wow, this map is so huge, how could Mr. X not win? And the only way Mr. X could not win is when he gets careless.
Yeah.
But it's intense for everybody because all the detectives are thinking, oh, where could he have gone? He's here or he is here, and Mr. X the whole time is thinking, oh crap, what if they move into my space?